All right. I spent about 4 hours going through my timeline, looking at BLM posts. Damn. I also looked at some MMIW posts, MMIP posts. That's missing and murdered Indigenous women, missing and murdered Indigenous people. I noticed that most of the people posting up about missing and murdered Indigenous people are white people and Native Americans. Mostly white people, though, surprisingly. There's a lot of addicts and former addicts who are really going to bat for y'all. This narrative that all white people are racist and everything is all white people's fault leaves out the fact that so many white people are victimized by the very same people. Now me, I've been fighting for black rights my entire life, or damn near it. Growing up in the system, you get a little bit different perspective. Now, I get to deal with y'all's bias, not just racism, but you have other bias too. You don't want to see poverty. You just assume all homeless people are child molesters, rapists, and so on and so forth. They must be a bunch of drug use and drunks and alcoholics. They're the only ones you pay any fucking attention to. You want to be hateful at all these white folks who only want to point out the black stuff. Black stuff, black stuff. It's not black stuff. This racist shit that these white people want to say about black folks. I get to read from black folks every single day saying those exact same things about the homeless. So that kind of prejudice is wrong if it's happening to you, but it's okay for you to do it to others. Now, with me, I had to actually do things that I knew to be illegal and knew were wrong. Now, why did I have to do these things? Because the police kept on pretending that the things that the Bollinger family and their friends did to me were magically legal, magically okay. No officer would take a look because it's not a race issue, it's a poverty issue. The more poor you are, the less rights you have. If you a black person in a house, you got more rights than, well, anyone on the streets. You want to complain that you have to be afraid that the cops might shoot you for the color of your skin? Let me explain something to you. Almost half of those killed by police last year were homeless. Over half of those killed by police last year were disabled. The two largest groups murdered by police I am a part of. I am disabled. That's number one. And I was homeless. Although I'm not currently homeless, I'd rather be homeless with my loved ones than in this shithole run by a woman who, well, she doesn't follow the rules, but she doesn't have to. There's at least 6 people in this apartment complex who have problems with that lady. She was supposed to send me my paperwork 7 months ago. The phone call with her is actually on this YouTube. One of, 3, 4 of them that I've posted up. Y'all think the laws are supposed to protect the victims. They don't. They protect the money. They protect the predators. When you are called mentally ill, anybody can do anything they want to you. When they call you black, is it the same thing? No, it's not. Not even close. If you're in a court of law and the officer broke the law and beat the living shit out of you and trumped you up on false fucking charges and dragged you away and had you injected with drugs, apparently it's okay to do it to a white person. Or it doesn't happen to white people, or so on and so forth. And I get to see a lot of black people committing hate crimes. And this is nothing new to me. I grew up in the system getting my ass beat for the color of my skin. It's not anything fucking new. But at the same time, BLM, I don't see anything about missing and murdered indigenous peoples. I don't see anything about the homeless or anything about the disabled. So what are some of the lies that BLM keeps telling? Well, number one, that black people are the most marginalized people in America. No, number one is homeless. Number two is Native Americans. Why is that? Well, because marginalized means that you are basing it off of percentage of the population. Little odd, isn't it? No, it's not. If 0.2% of the population are homeless, and they account for almost half of the deaths by police, well, maybe y'all need to find some more bullshit to sell. See, here's the thing. It's not black people or white people, it's groups. When you can blame a group, it absolves each individual within that group from their crimes. Police officers, they fit in a different category. These are public enemy number one. If you are a rich person in a house or a college student, yeah, they're going to treat you like you're a human being. And then they're going to go take it out on a homeless person, just like you do. I see exactly what I expected to see. People get desperate and they do desperate shit. And they take it out on who? Whoever is easiest to victimize. Those 5 black girls that were slapping around that girl who was waiting on a bus, that was a child. 5 grown-ass black women slapping around a white child. What did that white child do? That child never owned a slave. And you've never been a slave. That child never beat anybody with a whip, and you've never been beaten with a whip. But you want to complain as if we are all still beating you with a whip. You tell those of us who have fought for your rights, recognizing that they are our rights, and you tell us that we're racist. You do the same things to us that you want us to speak out about when it happens to you. And those of us who do speak out when it happens to you, you're not grateful. You're not thankful. You're too busy telling me that I owe you for the color of my skin. How about fucking thank you? How about instead of assuming that because of the color of my skin, I get all of this magic prizes falling from the sky? How about you pay attention to the fact that the number one most likely to be killed by police is a disabled person? You can get killed by police for being deaf, and they can get away with it. You can be killed for being autistic and stimming, and that happens often. You can get killed for using a blanket in Boulder, Colorado. And people will make every excuse why it's okay. Now, how about those boys that were out there? You got probably 100 black folks out there. You got 4 white kids, 4 white males there. And although everybody pretty much just focused on just one white kid when it came to the media, the fact is that those black people were beating on all 4 of those kids. Kids! Committing racially motivated hate crimes, and BLM turns a blind eye. Missing and murdered indigenous people, and BLM turns a blind eye. They want to shame us. You want to pretend that all lives matter is a racist thing. Well, you know what? I want you to take a look at how many of those hashtags save the children's there are. All lives matter means that those victims deserve a voice too. All lives matter means that the homeless deserve rights too. We deserve to have the murders stop. And they don't just murder us by shooting us, they murder us with exposure, just like it's being done with millions of people nationwide. Who are the most popular group right now as far as those murdered by exposure? The Native Americans. It is a lot more popular to care about Native Americans than it is to care about the homeless. Now, I'm going to tell you a statistic you probably don't want to hear. On the reservation, we're looking at an addiction rate close to 70%. 70% versus 25% when we're talking about the homeless. Now, when we're talking about how often these folks are shot by police for their percentage within a given community, we consider the entire United States a community. Less than 1% are Native American, and less than 1% are homeless. Now, it would be about 2.5% homeless if we considered all of those who are sitting in the prisons right now. What are they sitting in prisons for? Because they were easier to railroad than child molesters. Because they were easier to railroad than rapists. Because they were easier to railroad. That's what it comes down to. Why are black people being targeted? For the same reason as homeless people, for the same reason as Native Americans. We need to have laws that are responsible laws that protect the victims. Between the situation with me and Natalie, I never victimized Natalie. She victimized the fuck out of me, and so did her friends, and so did her family, and so did the police. When you are called mentally ill, you have one chance, and that's to have one person who gives a shit enough to actually fight your rights, to actually stand up for your rights. Not one of my friends actually did that. They'll speak up about people who are dead. People who are specifically dead because these people didn't come forward. King of Nichols didn't come forward. As a result, Elijah McClain is dead. Did King of Nichols ever speak out about my situation? No, but she did speak out about Elijah McClain. And when I let her know that Elijah McClain was dead because she didn't come forward about a situation, she treated me like shit. I'm used to it. Like when somebody promises they're going to help you and then they don't, and you let them know beforehand, hey, this is what's going to happen if you don't keep your word. Okay, I get it, I understand. But they didn't keep their word. And the things that I warned them would happen to me if they didn't keep their word happened. And then they say, stop blaming me, don't blame me, don't blame me. Bitch, fuck you. It is your fault. It is your choice. It is your decision. I'm going to make another video right after this one. I'm going to tell you all about Nettie's Treasures and about how they support pedophiles and disabled abuse. There's a lot more racism going on here too, though. Let's look at all the white people who are being murdered by black folks. Y'all don't want to hear that because it doesn't fit your rhetoric. You don't want to hear about the fact that most of those killed by the police, the majority of those black people killed by police, were homeless or disabled. The majority of black people incarcerated were either homeless when they were arrested or are disabled. But you don't want to hear that. It doesn't fit your propaganda. It doesn't fit your racism. You expect those of us who have fought for your rights our entire lives, you expect us not only to continue doing so despite the fact that you're not doing the same thing for us, but you also expect us to take your racist bullshit, to take your physical abuse, take your emotional abuse. Fuck BLM. Between those children and BLM, I'm on them kids' side. Save the children. Save them from racist black people who just want someone to victimize because they're too afraid to go after their predators. If Officer McBee shot your son in the head, go after Officer McBee. Don't go after white people. I've been abused enough for the color of my skin to know that there is a definite possibility that the people who were killed by black police officers last year were killed over racially motivated hate. But we can't say that because, oh, nobody can commit a hate crime against a white person. How about against a homeless person who just happens to be white? How about against a disabled person who just happens to be white? It hurts all of us. And then I see social distancing powwow. There's a racially charged post. One of the Native Americans is pretty pissed off about the fact that, well, again, Native Americans are taking a back seat to black people. Back of the bus again. Homeless people to the back of the bus again. Disabled people to the back of the bus again. We have focused on black people my entire life to the detriment of the entire country, to the detriment of the other victims, at the expense of the taxpayers, all of the taxpayers, not just the black ones. So, in social distance powwow, when that person posted that up, there's a bunch of people saying, well, BLM is fighting for us. BLM is this, BLM is that. No, they're not. I just spent hours looking for any evidence of that, and you're full of shit. Those of you commenting in social distance powwow, pretending that BLM gives a fuck about you, prove it. See, it wasn't just 4 hours tonight. This is months and months and months and months and months of this. The issue is police brutality. But you want it to be only about black people. So you shun, hate, and berate the other victims. You're doing the same things that you're complaining about. But it's magically okay. It's magically justified because of the color of your skin, right? That's racist. Kind of like the N-word. You're allowed to say it if you're, well, not white, apparently. Let me tell you something about the N-word. I have had a lot of black folks say, yeah, Sean, you can use the N-word around me. Oh, Sean, I use it. Yeah, it's fine for you to use it. No, it's not. Abso-fucking-lutely no, it's not. I'm not going to use the N-word, and I am not okay with you using it. First of all, if you can say it and I can't, then it's wrong. Plain and simple. If you can say it because of the color of your skin, but I can't because of the color of my skin, then it's racist. Now, you as a black person, if you give me permission to use the N-word, well, then I get into the habit of using a word, first of all, that I don't fucking like. And second of all, I get used to it. Then I might say it in front of another black person who didn't give me permission to use the word, and then I'm getting my ass kicked because I used a word that literally the person who is beating me up just got done using. It doesn't matter if you put an R on the end or an A at the end. It's still racist. I can't even count how many times black people have started fights intentionally looking for trouble, looking for someone to take their aggression out on. And then we get up in your face. Call me the N-word. I dare you. I dare you. I know you want to. I know you want to. Fuck you, bitch. You know that you're in the wrong, and you want to do something immoral and illegal that will justify it. Connection is unstable. Please wait while we try reconnecting. Ah, lovely. We're back. Let me tell you something. If you know that someone who is a child is being molested and you say nothing, you are as guilty of the crime as the person who did it. When your daughter comes to you to tell you that daddy touched her inappropriately and you want to punish your daughter for coming forward, you are a fucking monster. BLM racism isn't any different from any other racism. Now then there's this ignorance. All lives matter. If you say all lives matter, then you're racist. No, I'm not. I'm fighting for my rights too. But my rights don't matter to you because I'm not the right color, I'm not the right gender, and I don't have the right amount of money in my goddamn pocketbook. There are millions of people just like me who didn't go into the system because they're criminals. They went into the system at a very young age because their parents couldn't stay off the fucking drugs. I'm one of a great many people who did not put drugs into their system. The government did for things that don't hurt anyone. Tourette's syndrome doesn't hurt anyone, but the medications they gave me for it are life-threatening. OCD doesn't hurt anyone, but the medications they gave me for it are life-threatening. But it's okay. I just got to go sit at the back of the bus with the Native Americans who are again taking a back seat to black issues and black problems. No, these are not black issues and they're not black problems. These are poverty issues and poverty problems. No money means no rights. We live in the United States of fucking America. This is a capitalist nation. You have no rights. If you have money, you can buy rights. If you have no money, and someone can call you homeless or mentally ill, they can literally rape you and get away with it. "38 states, it is legal for police officers while on duty to fuck. Not just to fuck, but they can fuck somebody they have in custody. They can literally arrest you, fuck you, and drop you off on a fucking street corner. Any street corner they fucking want to. And they have. And it's legal. Now, when we introduced the possibility of laws 2 years ago to make this illegal, there were a lot of police officers who objected. Holy shit. How many jobs in America will let you fuck people on the job? Seriously, if I'd have been fucking people while I was on duty at the Cheesecake Factory as a dishwasher, I wouldn't have been a dishwasher there for long. If I'd have been fucking people while I was cleaning Cabela's corporate offices for years and years, if I'd have been busy fucking somebody instead, I wouldn't have had that job for long. I tree cut in this very fucking town for 6 years. Now, if I'd have been busy fucking while on the job instead of sharpening the chainsaws, I wouldn't have had that fucking job now, would I? It's stone lighting. My job was to assemble lighting fixtures, rail lighting systems. Now, if I'd have been busy fucking someone instead of working on those lighting systems, I wouldn't have had a job for fucking long, would I? Now, let's say I can multitask. Let's say that I can fuck and work on those things at the same time. Let's say I can fuck and still do stone lighting. Let's say I can fuck and I can still clean the toilets at Cabela's. Let's say I can fuck and I can still sharpen the chainsaws. Well, now we encounter the issue of I'm not getting paid at any of these jobs from your tax dollars. The police are. You are literally paying the police to go fuck people. That's their job, right? And by marginalizing it, by ignoring 90% of the victims or more, by shunning the other victims and treating the other victims like trash, treating them like they can't be victimized because of the color of their skin. Holy shit, y'all are fucking crazy. When you're disabled, nobody gives a fuck. In the history of the ACLU, how many disabled people have they defended? And how many of those disabled people were on their own? The ACLU will not help you unless you have someone on your side who is going to go in and speak with you and speak for you. Without that, even the ACLU doesn't give a shit. Someone named Otto, AUTO, type Kyle did nothing wrong. Kyle killed 2 people. How is that not wrong? Kyle drove across state lines with a firearm. That right there, in and of itself, is a felony. The fact that his mother drove him and provided him with that firearm at 17 years of age and drove across state lines with that firearm makes his mother a felon. Y'all are aware of that, right? How is it self-defense? How is it self-defense, Otto? Otto typed, Kyle did nothing wrong, then typed self-defense, then typed one person was about to shoot him in the head, and then he'll walk free. Really, I have not seen any evidence of anything of that nature. Of all of the people making claims like this, none of them have posted up any video footage or anything of that nature to prove any of it. Otto typed, you clearly haven't watched the footage closely. Post the footage up here, bitch. Post it the fuck up. Put it up here for us to see. Don't talk about it as if it might exist. Obviously, if you had seen this footage, you would be able to link it right here. See, here's the thing. I disagree with BLM's racism, but I'm against all racism. Let's see, it says the guy who had his bicep blown off had a 9mm semi-automatic in his hand, and there was an angry mob chasing him. Yeah, there's an angry mob chasing him. Dude showed up to a peaceful protest with a fucking firearm. A big ass fucking firearm. Which business was he supposedly protecting? Now, the guy who got his bicep blown off, was he the first person, second person, or third person shot? It's a good question, isn't it? Now, Otto typed, yes, racism is bad. Okay, well, we've already established that racism is bad. Obviously. But I want a link right here to what it is that you're claiming. I want to see that man there pointing a gun at this dude's head. See, here's the problem with that Kyle feller. It's the same problem that I have with the military. You don't get to go to somebody else's fucking backyard and shoot them up and then play victim. You don't get to break into somebody's house with a shotgun and then be a bitch when you get shot at back. If you show up looking for trouble, do not bitch, whine, moan, and complain to me when you fucking find it. You're gonna find trouble. Now, I've seen enough murders by black people against white people in the last 6 months to say 100% beyond any shadow of a doubt that the government is at this point turning a blind eye to BLM racism. Now, why would they do that? Well, I'll explain it like this. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., for years and years and years and years, was peaceful, and he marched. And he got his ass kicked repeatedly. He got stabbed repeatedly. He got shot. All he got was a whole shit ton of violence for speaking out. Now, Malcolm X, there was a great man. Why is it that after all those years of MLK not getting shit done, that Malcolm X actually got something done? For the same exact reason that the Black Panthers actually got something done. It only takes 2 to 3% of the population to stage an effective coup. Black people account for 13% of the population. So there are enough black people to take over the entire country. Yeah. Now I got a question for you. Let's say you live in Washington, D.C., where 70% of the population is black. Now that depends on which numbers you want to read, because it says anywhere from 40 to 70. However, we're going to go with the big numbers. Let's say you live in Washington, D.C. This is a city of several million people. Now let's say that you are, well, let's just say you're the president of the United States or a congressman, who knows. Now you've got what? A maximum of 50 people protecting you at any one point in time if you're the president. And if you're not, maybe a 5-man security detail. Of course, paid for by the taxpayers. Yeah. And now we're talking about a city with millions of black people in it. When black people ask nicely and ask nicely and ask nicely, you thump them for it, just like you do with anybody else who asks nicely. The government only understands violence. Police only understand violence. Soldiers only understand violence. And that's why Martin Luther King Jr., who I personally like a lot more than Malcolm X, a whole lot more than Malcolm X, but he didn't get anything accomplished. Malcolm X did. The Black Panthers did. We still talk about Martin Luther King Jr. as if he is the one who made all of these effective changes. No, he did not. The Million Man March showed solidarity. And guess what? There were a lot of white people at that Million Man March. Now let's take a look at what this dude posted. All right, it says, I'll get the link. I pasted the link, but it didn't show in chat. Google filters the truth. Right. And then auto type yes. Let's see, yes. And every time a white person dies, are there riots? Every time a white person dies, do we have police antagonizing them? Do we? See, while most of y'all white people live in houses, and this is all miles away from you, and you got your own ideas in your head from not having to live it, it's a lot fucking different. It's a lot different from the world of people who do have to live it. There's a big difference between living in an upper middle class white neighborhood where your parents are paying for your shit. You get to have a summer job where you can buy your first car, and your mommy and daddy pay for part of the insurance or even all of it. That's a lot different from living in an area where you got bullets going through your windows, going through your walls. It's a lot different from living in a place where you get two of your neighbors pulled out of their houses after a drug overdose. You can see their corpses. You'd think they'd zip them up before bringing them out. Not always. Now, why is it that every time black folks come together to protest, they're antagonized? Why is it that if there are 1,000 protesters there and you're able to antagonize 6 of them into defending themselves, why call it a riot? Not only that, but the founding act of this great nation was an act of terrorism and property damage. The Boston Tea Party. See, here's the thing. I see the police stations getting burnt to the ground. Yes, that is a good start. Between burning the police stations to the ground over police brutality and beating on white children, I'm not going to support you beating on white children. All lives matter, including the lives of those white children. Police aren't a life. It's an occupation. Just like being an SS soldier was an occupation. You chose it. Unlike the homeless, police officers chose to be Nazi. Let's see. Auto typed yes. And where are the white riots? You do realize that there are white people at these BLM gatherings, do you not? You know, here's another thing that shows how incredibly racist BLM is. How hard they are pushing to try to say that it's white people doing it. Now, we all got to see a whole bunch of statues get toppled over, right? Who was it that was pulling over those? BLM protesters. And that is a protest. Not only that, but it is a valid protest. Property damage is called civil disobedience. And it is an essential part of fighting for our rights. Now, let's see. WLM riots. How many people does it take to be considered a riot? Let me tell you something about white people riots. What do white people riot about? White people do riot, actual riots, not pulling 6 people out of a crowd of 1,000 and saying, look, those 6 people committed crimes after being antagonized. So all of these 1,000 people are all terrorists now. They're all rioters now. Meanwhile, they're doing property damage over what? Over human lives being wasted. Like they meant absolutely nothing. That's what BLM is pissed off about. I'm pissed off because BLM is racist and is ignoring all of the other victims. Not just ignoring them. Ignoring them would be actually kind of nice at this point, because at this point, we have lots of BLM racist assholes antagonizing, threatening, and abusing the other victims. Hey, you're taking away from the black cause. You're taking away from the black cause by speaking out. No, bitch. You're taking away from our cause, from equal rights for all. But your racist bullshit ignores the most victimized people in America. Meanwhile, you want to claim that you are the most marginalized. Fuck BLM. BLM, the KKK, the Nazi Party, they can all kiss my ass. Fuck your racism. Let's see. Auto typed, MLK was a pacifist, yes, and he was assassinated. Now, I had one racist dumbass telling me that he was assassinated by another black man. It's black on black crime. Excuse me, James Earl Ray. James Earl Jones, that really is a good name, and we all know who that is. Let's see. Who killed Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.? Is it James Earl Ray? James Earl Ray, that's right. Martin Luther King Jr. was shot while standing on the balcony of the Lorraine Motel in Memphis, Tennessee. An hour later, he was declared dead. For nearly 50 years, the federal government has maintained that James Earl Ray was the gunman who assassinated King that day. Ugh. Those in the government fear violence. They fear you. They fear you, the American people, and that's why they spend so much time on this divide and conquer crap. BLM, they go through and they search and they search and they search for comparisons they can make that make it look or seem like it is entirely one-sided against black people. And in reality, literally, BLM has to harm the other victims, has to harm them in order to sell their propaganda at this point. BLM is a racist hate group. BLM is going to get taken down. All lives matter means that those children's lives matter. It means that those homeless people's lives matter. And then there's people saying, oh, well, I can care about more than one thing at once. Are you speaking out about more than one thing, or are you exclusively focused on BLM? And I do mean BLM, not black folks. I mean BLM propaganda and bullshit. I'm tired of being told that I can't be victimized because of the color of my skin. I can't be victimized because I have a penis. Fuck your racist bullshit. And I don't give a fuck what color your goddamn skin is. Let's see. I'm going to read because I do like to read what people write on the side, not ignore them. And of course, if they're being douchebags, I'm going to, of course, call them a douchebag. Let's see. Damn, this dude typed a lot. Kyle Rittenhouse gun bicep into Google. First results from the Sun newspaper. I tried pasting the link and it didn't show. Auto Google/YouTube filter free speech. Feminists and the far left BLM want to believe there's some kind of conspiracy against them. Well, there is. There really is. Now, this conspiracy against BLM, not really much of a conspiracy. Those who are pissed off at BLM and their racist bullshit are very open about it. See, white people are sick of being victimized for the color of their skin and told that they can't be victims because their skin is the wrong color. White people are sick of being told how much they owe somebody for the color of their skin. Excuse me, did I ask to be born white? Did I ask to be born into a family of fucking druggies and child molesters? Did I ask to go into the system at the age of 4? Now, there's a big difference between feminism and man-hating. Big fucking difference. See, feminism is fighting for equality, fighting for equal rights for women. Then again, I would sure love to have the rights that women have. I don't have those rights because I have a penis. The bias, the assumption, the things that we are all trained from little kids to believe. You never hit a woman. I disagree. If a woman is hitting you, fucking hit her back. Do not let anyone fucking pound on you. Now, what happens if you defend yourself against a woman? You go into prison. That's just how it is. How would you like to have that happen, women? Do you know that women are 5 times more likely to be stalkers than men? They're 5 times more likely to get violent with their spouse than a man. But you don't want to hear that because it doesn't fit your rhetoric. Did you know that women get pulled over as often as men? But they get away with far less tickets. You have no idea how, actually, you probably do. Most of you know as many women who got away with committing crimes and breaking the law after getting pulled over by shaking their boobs and then bragging about it. Bragging about, oh, well, you know, me and my friends here got me out of another ticket. As you're groping yourself for emphasis. Holy shit. There absolutely is a conspiracy. I want BLM gone. I want equality. I want black people to be able to walk down the street without fear of getting shot. I want homeless people to be able to put on a blanket. Let's see. The guy who got 7 gunshots in the back was wanted by police. They put their lives at risk. It's better to comply until you are not suspected of a crime. The police aren't putting their lives at risk. They're putting our lives at risk. Police repeatedly put my life at risk. Police repeatedly chose predatory action over doing their goddamn jobs. So police can kiss my ass. Now, you shoot somebody in the back 7 times, you don't get to pretend like you were defending yourself. You shoot somebody in the back 7 times, especially when they're unarmed, then we got a major issue. Now, I got a feeling this person here is talking about that man who had the taser. Where did he get that taser? Did he bring that taser to the fight? No, he didn't show up for a fight. The police did. Let's see. Auto type officer, am I free to go? No, that is not how it works. Police officers must have a legal reason to detain you. Manufacturing one is different. What the police did to me, I should be killing them for to make sure that they don't do it to another human being. I should go kill all of the Bollingers to make sure that they don't get any more people killed. I should cut Alicia Bollinger's head off, place it on a pike, and put it on the lawn of the state capitol building in Colorado, because nothing makes a statement like a severed head. But you know what? Just because that's what I should be doing, according to public opinion, doesn't mean that I agree with that kind of cruelty. See, while I was speaking out about how terrible it was that white people were doing these things to black folks, but then I get called a racist when I speak out about how terrible it is that black folks are doing these things to white folks. With all due respect, am I the only person here who believes in actual equality? Let's see, autotype, they have to answer, and if you are not under suspicion, they have no reason to shoot you. That doesn't fucking matter. That dude who answered his door and was blasted by the cops showed up there with a shitty fucking attitude. They flanked his door and then they outright fucking executed him. Let's see. Peaceful protests were not antagonized. Don't fucking lie to me, bitch. Do not fucking lie to me. You are antagonizing it right now. You are going out of your way to pretend that all of these people who are protesting are rioters, that it was not a peaceful protest, and that none of these people were antagonized. With all due respect, I saw the antagonizers with my own two eyes. But that doesn't fit your rhetoric. See, that's why Otto's bullshit exposes him as a racist, just like BLM exposed themselves as racist by typing this very same shit that this person's typing, making excuses for the predators. If you smoke pot, is it all right for me to go fucking shoot you? If you smoke pot, is it all right if I go over to your house and fucking kill you and your entire family? Is that okay? No, it's okay for police. You're making excuses for police. Oh, he was on drugs. He was smoking a fucking joint, dipshit. Now, how many domestic abuse cases involve alcohol? The majority of them. There are more domestic violence situations that involve alcohol than there are that don't involve alcohol. Now, how many of those situations involve weed? Let's see. Auto type, they were even protected by police. Bullshit. Sorry, but I saw the police beating down that 7-year-old girl. There's all those people who are grown ass adults those police could have victimized. People who were actually throwing rocks. The police could have taken them down. But no, they decided to separate a 7-year-old black girl and drag her off 6-on-1. Meanwhile, people don't want to make a big deal about that. Why not? That 7-year-old girl, do you think she was there to riot? Fuck no, she wasn't. The autotype, and Kyle even came to give medical assistance to an injured protester. There's footage of that also. Well, that's nice. That really is nice. And after I get off of here, chances are pretty good that I'm going to look that up and try to find the footage that you're claiming exists. Now, I've also looked through literally thousands of similar situations. I don't mind doing the fucking work. Between spouting ignorance and looking it up, I would rather be educated. Let's see. Autotype. I don't see similar struggles in European countries, e.g. in the Netherlands, there is largely harmony among all races. And then autotype BLM, ignore black on black crime. Well, see, that right there is what exposes you as a racist. First of all, there's no such thing as black on black crime. It's just crime. We don't talk about white on white crime, do we? Meanwhile, I've had to deal with white on white crime. Natalie Bollinger and nearly all of her friends are white. All of them committed crimes against me. Most of them committed felonies. But do we call that white on white crime? No, that's just crime. What these people did was wrong. It's not wrong because of my skin color. It's not wrong because of their skin color. It's wrong because it's wrong. Is it wrong to beat on another human being? Is it wrong to assault someone without even allowing them the chance to defend themselves? There's a big difference between what you think is right and wrong and what I think is right and wrong. I think if you're going to make special excuses why it's magically okay, like black on black crime, then you're a fucking idiot. You are a fucking idiot. Shit like that is like calling someone mentally ill when they're disabled. You're just making excuses, whatever excuse that you can make. Oh, he was probably on drugs. Oh, so that makes it okay to kill somebody. You know, he was drunk in his car. He was passed out in his fucking car. But if being drunk makes it okay to kill somebody, then I got 2 Stegomans right down the street I need to go shoot this morning. And then I have 3 sheriff's deputies that I need to go shoot this morning. And then I need to go over to at least 11 houses that I am aware of on Main Street, and I need to go kill those people. And then I need to go over to Polly Olson's because I've seen her drink. And then I need to go over to, well, Jim Hayes, the former sheriff of this town, because not only have I seen him drink, I've seen him drink on duty, and he has helped to cover up for murders in this town. Hey, how many of y'all ever heard of Guy Lundy? Guyluendy. Might want to look that name up. Let's see. Auto-typed property damage is criminal. So, it's a lot fucking nicer than shooting you in your goddamn head, isn't it? If I am protesting the death of my loved ones by breaking your shit, then you had something to do with the death of my loved one or covering it up, and you deserve far worse than having your shit broke. According to public opinion, I should be shooting you between the eyeballs right now. Why do I choose to allow you racist fucking rednecks to live? Why is it that between exposing the child molesters and going and killing them, that I chose to expose them? Well, I can kill 1 or 2 before I get busted. I can expose hundreds. The founding act of our great nation was what? Property damage. You're goddamn right it's criminal. If the law doesn't protect you and it only hurts you, it does not apply to you. If following the law is going to get you harmed, don't follow it. Anyone who wants to harm you for choosing not to be harmed, hurt them badly. That is the best advice I can get. And that's the best advice I can give. Someone puts their nasty cock beaters on you, you break those son of a bitches in half. You break every fucking bone in their hand. If you have to, take out their kneecaps. Do whatever it takes to get away. And while you're at it, try to inflict enough damage that they're never going to try that again. At this point, people in the United States have been separated from actual violence within our country for long enough. It's time Americans got their asses kicked by other Americans. Autotype violence is the last refuge of the incompetent. You know what? Violence is rarely the answer, but when it is the answer, it is the only answer. And the only answer right now for police brutality is to kill police. That is fair and equal. Police go out, they don't care which homeless person they pick up. Any homeless person will do. They don't care if we fucking freeze to death. I'm just doing my job. Yeah, the Nazis just did their job, and look what we did to them at Nuremberg. Don't be a dumbass, dumbass. When it comes to defending yourself, by all means, as violent as fucking possible. Someone comes at you with a baseball bat, take it from them and beat them down. Now, I would like to tell y'all, because I've heard a lot of y'all talk about if somebody pulled a gun on me, I'd do this and I'd do that. You guys watch way too many fucking cartoons. Way too many fucking movies. Your perception of reality is non-existent. Somebody pulls a gun on you, most of you are just gonna fucking piss yourselves. If we only fired our guns in self-defense, if every single person on the planet decided right here and now that they're not going to pull the trigger unless someone else is shooting at them, nobody would get shot. Preemptive, though. Oh, I thought he was going to hit me first. See, that's the situation with Natalie. She wasn't afraid of me doing anything. She was afraid of the truth coming out because she was embarrassed. She didn't care that an innocent man was being harmed because she didn't want to tell the truth. Now look at her. Dead as a fucking doornail. Meanwhile, her whore sister is still out getting fucked up on drugs and destroying people's lives. Now, then junkies don't want you to call them junkies. Imagine that. They want you to feel bad for them, despite the fact that they destroy people's lives because their drugs are more important. I know this firsthand. I went into the system at 4 years old because my mom didn't want to stay off the cocaine. My dad didn't want to stay off the cocaine. Let's see. Autotyped, yes, BLM ignores the plight and struggles of other marginalized groups, of which there are many. And there are many. A great many. Matter of fact, black folks, whether or not they're in the top 10, all comes down to, do you consider all of the disabled as one group? Or do you consider the mentally disabled one group and the physically disabled another one? Black people are barely in the top 10. Autotyped, yes, equal rights. Autotyped, so I think we're basically in agreement. I think Kyle is guilty of underage gun carry and crossing state lines, but apart from that, I can't see evidence he was the aggressor. Let's see. Oh wow, it looks like more people started commenting. That's cool. Holy shit, that's a lot of reading. I guess I should stop commenting and just start reading what other people are typing. In the protest riots months ago, black business owners also were out with guns and armored vests to protect their own businesses as they have the right to do. That's right. And those black business owners were also standing out there with white business owners, as well as black and white individuals with firearms who were pointing them at the ground, by the way. You don't point a gun up in the air. What goes up must come down. You don't fire a warning shot into the air. You don't fire it into a wall. You don't fire it into a ceiling. You fire it into the ground. And y'all remember how that went. That little Asian dude, he chopped up his big picture. It's got 6 people in it with guns, 3 white guys and 3 black guys, all standing together with their guns to protect this business. And this Asian feller, who can't hardly type a word of English, zooms it in, crops the picture, so it just shows 2 white guys with guns, and then they try to claim that these are all the KKK out to kill black people. How many of y'all have noticed that? The terrible grammar in a lot of these posts. You do realize these are not coming from American nationals, or at least I hope you do. Let's see. Yes, BLM will be taken down. It will fade into obscurity and nobody will remember it in years to come. Oh no, people will always remember it. Nobody's going to forget the Nazis. Nobody's going to forget the KKK. They're not going to be forgotten. Autotype, it's largely driven by the pandemic and people with no dreams, goals, aspirations, and education. No. This was going on before the pandemic, bud. Nice opinion, but it's devoid of facts. Let's see. The sooner we start to act as one race, one family, the better. The human race is capable of so much more. Exactly. Let's call it what it is, human on human crime. That one, this one typed hi. Autotype, during all this, we went to space. Scientists are working hard on a vaccine. There's progress and hope against a backdrop of chaos. That one, this one typed cool. Looks like you're out of the float. Autotype, I agree, Sean David. I had a physically abusive girlfriend in the past and stayed silent about it. Autotype, she was also psychologically abusive. Well, that's how we train girls in the United States. We train them, number 1, to be psychologically abusive. Number 2, to gang up to do it. And number 3, how to manipulate men into doing the dirty work. Fuck it. I'm not the one teaching these girls these things. Let's see, Autotype, thankfully, she is long gone. Autotype, in the UK, they manage without armed police. I doubt there could ever be a nationwide gun amnesty in the US. You need to understand here that we in the US know what happens when you take away our guns. An unarmed populace is an easy to victimize populace. Those in the UK are starting to realize that. A lot of European nations are starting to realize that. Decrease in gun violence comes with an increase in stabbings. Holy shit. Also, you take away the guns from all of the law-abiding citizens, what do you have left? Just gun-toting criminals. Autotype, no justice, no peace, isn't a peaceful sentiment. It is. at the point where people's lives are being taken at such a massive rate, being victimized and enslaved. And yes, here in the United States, the 13th Amendment makes that legal. Let's see, I'm going to type this up here for you just so that you can look it up. The 13th, there it is, the 13th Amendment. All right. Passed by Congress on January 31st, 1865, and ratified on December 6th, 1865. Now, by the way, what year did the Civil War end? The 13th Amendment, now, mind you, this first part is bullshit. It says the 13th Amendment abolished slavery in the United States and provides that neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except as punishment for crime whereof the party shall have been duly convicted, shall exist. Except we don't duly convict people. If you have no money, you have no rights, you are guilty. Your guilt is just assumed, and nobody's going to do a goddamn thing about it. It says, except as punishment for crime. Now, the 13th Amendment, many of you are aware that the end of the Civil War was 1864, 1865, depending on when you choose to believe the end of the war was. Some idiots still think it's going on today. Now, you've got 4 million black people in southern states. 4 million who were literally all made homeless at once. And what did the South do? Well, they started Jim Crow laws a lot earlier than people like to pretend. A lot of people like to say that Jim Crow laws didn't show up until the late 1890s and early 1900s, which is bullshit. The very first Jim Crow law passed made it illegal to be homeless, made you a criminal for not having a roof over your head. That made 4 million black people, as well as all of the people who were homeless that weren't black. Side effects and consequences. White people wanted to be racist, and now it's used against white people as well, but not just white people. Native Americans, immigrants, people who were born here, it really doesn't matter. If you're broke in your fucking property. Now let's continue here. Says, this message is held for review. Autotype, I'm not a racist, you coward. Well, I'm not too cowardly to speak up. Autotype, you're being a coward. Cool. You're entitled to your opinion. You're entitled to voice your opinion. I call enough people cowards, I can take it. Misa Kejun, I probably mispronounced your name, and I'm sorry about that. Typed, thank you for being who you are, and thank you for spreading awareness for those with autism, Asperger's, and developmental disabilities. You're welcome. I'm not just doing it for you guys, I'm also doing it for me. But you're welcome. For the children first. This person, I don't know how to read their name. I think that's it. Is that Sanskrit? Let me see. Symbols. If it's not Sanskrit, then it might be Indian. Like from India, Indian. Chakra symbols. Ah, yes. What's this one say? You're a gray. Is that really the name? I'm probably pronouncing that wrong too. I guess we'll get back to this. Misa K. Jun typed, How are you doing, Sean? Is what that person whose name I can't read wrote. Miss K. June type saying black on black crime translates to you kill yourselves, so why can't we kill you? Just say you're racist and move along. Very good. Thank you, Miss K. June. Very good. Absolutely, you get it. Thank you. Auto typed. I am pointing out black on black crime precisely because they point out white on black crime. BLM or black people? BLM has a very specific agenda, whereas black people are just like white people are just people. But BLM is a group with an agenda, just like the KKK is a group with an agenda, just like Republicans, Democrats, and liberals are all a bunch of shitheads to me. They're also groups. And the problem with groups is that it absolves personal responsibility. That's fucking gross. That's how these predators get away with it. It's not my fault. It's the group's fault. Good luck going after the whole group. And that's why the government is scared of people like Malcolm X, the Black Panthers. And that's why it took Malcolm X and the Black Panthers to get laws changed, where Martin Luther King Jr. wasn't able to get any of that done. He just took the punishment, just like Jesus. Auto typed, not because I think it matters about the race of the victim or perpetrator. I like that. I like that, Auto. So why don't we focus on that? Why don't we focus on the crimes themselves instead of the colors? Because we're not allowed. We get the colors thrown in our face all the fucking time. It's all right for you, but not for me. Well, that's why it's not equality. Ms. K. June typed at Auto, it's not white on black crime. The officers have murdered innocent people who happen to be black, and no justice has been served because of it. And that I can understand. Now, first of all, a lot of these officers who have been killing black people are sitting in jail. Some of them are on their way to prison. Now, I know that a lot of people are going to point out that there's situations like Demetrius Shankling, where those two officers were pretty much shipped off immediately. Of course, they killed a man. So that's probably the right thing to do. But we also have a lot of officers who killed black people and have gotten away with it. Innocent people. Now that's Miss K. June typed, it's not white on black crime. The officers have murdered innocent people. Those people include, number one on the list, the disabled, number two on the list, the homeless. Now here it says who happen to be black. Well, not all of them. Matter of fact, the majority of those killed by police last year were not black. The only people in the United States with even close to an equal ratio of deaths per capita are the Native Americans, and they still don't come anywhere close. Let's see, and it says, and no justice has been served because of it. Well, some justice has been served, but then we also see how fickle our government is. We get to see how they fold when they're afraid. They're afraid of losing their position, their house, or their meal ticket. How they fold. They'll play your rhetoric if that's what keeps them in office. You know, When Thomas Kelly was murdered, he was beaten to death, a slow, painful death. They beat him for about 20 minutes, laughing and making jokes about it the whole time. Thomas Kelly wasn't just white, he was homeless, and his predators got away. What's the difference between Thomas Kelly and Demetrius Shankling? Well, Demetrius Shankling was a college student, just like Zaid Atkinson was a college student. Y'all care about college students. You don't give a fuck about the homeless, no matter what color they are. What color was that homeless person who black people were throwing fireworks at, laughing about it, thinking it's hilarious? That was another black person. Is that a black on black crime? No, they didn't go after that man because of the color of his skin. They went after that man for the same reason that police go after us. Easy victims. It's easy to victimize the homeless and get away with it. Otto typed, it's not so cut and dry as that. Otto also typed, fentanyl Floyd toxicology report shows he had a lot of drugs in his system, and the recent shooting would have been avoided if he didn't resist. Ah, so you're saying that killing George Floyd is okay because fentanyl. Huh. Who knew? You know that fentanyl is supposed to be for people who are trying to get clean, trying to get off of the drugs. So now it's okay to shoot people who are trying not to be drug addicts? And where did George Floyd resist? You don't owe it to the police to allow them to abuse you. If you allow them to do it, they will do it again and again and again and again to others over and over and over again. A lot of the women that I know, I'm pissed off at them for not turning in their predators. They say, well, it's not your business, Sean. No, it is. It is my business. One man dated 7 women that I know, beat up all 7 of them, and 6 of them I warned ahead of time. It is my business. When you let that predator go, he gets access to more people he can victimize. Music K. June typed, oof, the ufking facts, the facts. And some applause. Otto typed, you love to twist facts to suit your bias and seeing through only a subjective lens. I see it through my perspective. I can't see it from your perspective. I can try. I can do my best to put myself in your shoes and try to see it from your point of view. However, it is my experiences, what I have lived through in my life, that my decisions are based off of. It doesn't matter if it fits your rhetoric or not. I'm the one who had to live through it. So if I had to live through it and I'm not allowed to speak, but you are, there's an issue. If you're allowed to judge me, but I'm not allowed to defend myself, there is an issue. When you shoot an unarmed person for a misdemeanor, the assumption of a misdemeanor, we got some pretty major issues. This ain't just happening to black folks. I've been called a racist because I keep saying this isn't just happening to black folks. You're racist, you're racist. Well, with all due respect, I'm still sticking up for black folks. Am I sticking up for all black folks? Absolutely. Just as I'm sticking up for all white folks. I'm sticking up for equality. He's the Cajun type. He's not twisting them. It's the truth. Auto typed okay. So I will be reporting you for suggesting that people should kill police. With all due respect, they should be. That's what I've been hearing since the very beginning of all of this shit. If they'd have done that to me, I'd do this and I'd do that. Oh, well, if that's what I should do, according to you, then I'm glad we're not the same person. Now, there's two sides to this here coin. Number one, I'm not willing to kill people. I think the example would be best served if these officers and other assorted perpetrators, such as child molesters and rapists, were in prison. I think that that would set a much better example. Why? Due process of law. We need to make laws that work, laws that are equal. Our laws, as they stand, favor only the rich. Now, should I be killing people? Should I be killing police right now? Absolutely, I should be. According to public opinion, if someone did this to you, most of your opinion is that you would kill them. But no, you wouldn't. You really wouldn't. You want to, you think about it, but you don't have any follow through. You're too afraid. And that's why you're so angry that you're saying those things, because you are too afraid to do anything about it. Misa K. June type, violence is the language of the unheard. Martin Luther King Jr. Absolutely. We asked you to stop and you ignored us. We asked you again and you laughed at us. We asked you again and you assaulted us. And then we assaulted you back. And you didn't like it. Auto typed, enjoy your YouTube ban. Fuck it. Used to it. Facebook bans too. People don't like it when you speak out, and they don't like it when you disagree. Miss K. June typed, he didn't say people should kill police. You're only hearing what you want to hear. And I agree with that. See, that's what happens when you cut out just little parts and pieces that fit your bias. Now, although I literally did say that I should be killing the police, that's according to your opinions, according to the things that you guys want to push, what you guys think should be done. Do I think that it's okay to kill police? Honestly, no. I think most of these officers deserve prison time. But if I'm going to complain about them shooting people in the back, well, I had to give those officers the same opportunity. That's called equality. However, officers are not doing that to us or with us. They're not giving us anything anywhere near or approaching equality. And that's the thing, is that equality at this point would be murdering police and locking police up in our basements, feeding them next to nothing, and denying them medical access. Oh yeah, and we also got to smack them around a little bit and steal all of their clothes, put them on suicide watch, and then inject them with drugs and beat them down a couple of times. That's equality. This person whose name I can't read typed, you speak nothing but facts, Sean. I try to. Some of the stuff that I say is actually wrong, and you'll actually hear me admit the stuff that was wrong later on. or later on from now, if you guys go back through some of my videos, I mean, there's stuff where, literally on the spot, as soon as I find out that I was wrong about something, on the spot, I tell you I was wrong. It doesn't take me a week, it doesn't take me a month, it doesn't take me 6 years. But I do a lot of research. I do look these things up for myself. I do review the videos and look at the situations. I do my best to look at it objectively. I still got bias, same as the rest of y'all, though. I'm not going to pretend I don't. Let's see. Miss K. June type, he said, if the police are the ones abusing you, you have the right to defend yourself. And if it results in you killing to survive, so be it. Absolutely. Now that right there is somebody who gets the point. This is what most of America is saying right now. Most of America. That's where it becomes the should be part. We live in a democracy, which means that, well, majority rules. And the majority of you think that we should be getting violent over these sorts of things. We should be getting violent over police covering for rapists and child molesters. We should be killing politicians for them being involved in the Epstein thing. We should be. And I've been reading this stuff on Facebook for so long. We should be killing these people, and we should be killing those people, and we should cut these people's balls off and these people's heads off. Well, if you want to do that and you want to make that law, you have the ability to do that. But the other thing is that you need to do so responsibly, which means putting measures in place to prevent innocent people from having to endure that type of consequences. And that's not going to happen unless Breonna's law is passed nationwide. That's the one that forces police officers to have their body cameras on. The police and the things that they did to me and got away with, they got away with by repeatedly turning off their body cameras. Autotype reported, oh well. Autotype promoting violence is against the terms of service, except that I'm not promoting violence. I'm promoting equality and I'm promoting defense. Mies K. June typed, he's not promoting violence, he's promoting self-defense. Exactly. By the way, self-defense doesn't exist in Nebraska. Here in Nebraska, if someone wants to beat you to death, you have to let them, or you get charged with assault by mutual combat. Congratulations. Auto typed, he did not promote self-defense. Well, maybe you should listen to the whole thing, Otto. Otto typed, he mentioned killing police in retaliation. Go back to that part and play it in its entirety for me, Otto. Otto typed, you moron. Well, you can type moron all you want, or idiot, or fucktard, or dipshit. Hell, I call people cunts. And I'm not sexist about it. It doesn't matter if you're a male or a female. If you get innocent people hurt, you're a cunt. Let's see. Miss K. June typed, yeah, he died. You're not listening. And then this person typed, yes, he did. Auto type moron. Auto type, you aren't listening. And Miss K. June. Miss K. June type, he said, as a result of abuse from someone in a place of authority. Let's see. Wow. this is going to take me a while to read. We're an hour and 39 minutes into it, and I'm going up. Let's see. Auto, pay more attention, idiot. Auto type, that's called revenge/retaliation. Really? There's a big difference between revenge, retaliation, and self-defense. If someone is attacking you and they are punching you in the face and you punch them back, that's not revenge. That can be considered retaliation, but at that point it is self-defense. Hopefully you knock them out in the first punch so they'll stop hitting you. Auto type 2, he will be banned for what he said. Oh, poor Auto, throwing a tantrum now. Miss K. June typed, if a cop is abusing their power and is assaulting you, you have a right to defend yourself. I agree, the law doesn't. Miss K. June typed, even if it's a cop. And I agree, but the law doesn't. Auto typed, but saying you should kill cops is against terms of service of YouTube. Now, here's Auto getting his mangina a little bit too bloody for this channel over the things that he's bleeding out his mangina about. Auto, here's what I recommend for you. I want you to drive down to Home Depot. I want you to buy yourself an industrial box of man pawns, and I want you to fucking stuff it. Stop bleeding all over my YouTube. Auto type, saying you should kill anyone is also. Actually, no, it's not. See, I'm not sure if you have paid very close attention to the terms of service or to what I'm saying, but really what you're doing is going out of your way to try to pretend that I'm saying something that I'm not. Now, I do have to agree with anyone in the United States, regardless of the color of your assailant or what occupation they have. You have the right to defend yourself to the death if necessary. Let's see. Miss Kajun typed, cops cannot assault you, and if you kill to survive an assault, then it's justifiable. Exactly. Auto type, good luck running that past a judge or jury. Well, actually, since it's already on the law books, it can be run by a judge and a jury. If you have somebody trying to kill you and you kill them in self-defense, that's not retaliation. They're trying to fucking kill you. Of course, you do have to be able to get that before a judge, which is very difficult when you are assaulted by police and the general public, and you can't turn in the public who's harming you because you have to go to the police who harmed you. That's dumb. Let's see. Miss K. June typed, if you're being attacked by a wild animal, you don't ask it to please stop. You do what you must to survive. Exactly. Exactly, Miss K. June. Now, if I'm pronouncing your name wrong, I do apologize. I don't do it to be a dick. Auto typed, you mentioned killing police in retaliation, not defense. Well, actually, I retaliated against the police by speaking out, by showing what was going on. That's my form of retaliation. I told Natalie Bollinger that I was going to retaliate against Tim and Ted if she didn't come forward and tell the truth. And did I? You're goddamn right I did. I exposed them as child molesters and rapists with her own words and theirs. Ooh, that pissed a lot of people off. Otto typed, use your ears. Otto, why don't you use your ears? Why don't you? See, because there's what I should be doing. What I should be doing right now, this moment, is killing those officers. What I am choosing to do is not follow what it is the rest of America is all gung-ho about. Violence, 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 killing, killing, killing. Killing people over misdemeanors that happened 20 years ago. Well, he got a fucking drug charge. You look up the drug charge, it's from 1998, and you're going, holy fucking shit. You're saying that it's all right for a police officer to kill a man in 2018 because he got busted with a pot pipe in 1998. Holy fucking shit, you're a goddamn idiot. Ms. Cajun typed, he didn't say in retaliation. I heard him very clearly, and he didn't say in retaliation. Auto typed, rewind it and come back to admit your own mistake. Probably not going to happen, dude. No. Because see, unlike you, these other folks are listening to the context, not trying to pick it apart to fit their bias, their hatred, or their agenda. Ms. Cajun typed, use your context clues. Ms. Cajun's not an idiot. He didn't say kill a cop. He said if you're being assaulted by a cop and they're abusing their power and you kill them, it is for your survival. Very much so. Ms. Cajun typed, you have a right to defend yourself, period. Exactly. 100%. Now let's see what Otto is turning this into. Maybe if he hadn't resorted to asserting I am racist, I wouldn't have taken issue with his radical statements on revenge killings. If I was going to do some revenge killings, I'd already done it. Now you're pushing an agenda. Now the thing is, Otto, that you wanted to post up some racist shit. You want to post up racist shit and not be called out for it? This is the wrong goddamn channel, dude. Hell, I say racist shit on this fucking channel. No joke. Do I agree with the racist shit that I'm saying? No, but I don't have to. I don't have to agree with it. Every time that I say black person or white person, I understand that that immediately is racist just because I separated us. I separated us into two different groups. Of course, I didn't separate us into those groups. Those groups were separated for me, and I am trying to explain to y'all that if we don't work together, we all have to continue taking it up the ass with no lube. Misa K. June typed, he didn't say in any way, shape, or form, let's kill every cop we see. Those words never left his lips. Nice try, though. Auto typed, I heard what he said. It's against terms of service. Good luck. What a fucking giner. Oh, God, I better not use that word. That might be construed as sexist. Can I call him a dick? Or is that sexist? Hold on a second. I can't call them both, because then that would be hermaphrodite, and I know some hermaphrodites, and I don't want to offend them, especially since none of them did me any wrong. So what word am I supposed to use here? Ms. Cajun typed, he didn't say you were racist. He said your statement is racist. Again, nice try. Well, now I am saying outright. Otto, you're a racist. Whether you're a racist or not doesn't matter. The fact is, I just called you a racist. What are you going to do about it? Are you going to defend yourself? Should you have the right to defend yourself? Now, if I was to give you equal treatment, as in the way that I was treated when I tried to defend myself, in order to give you equal treatment, I would have blocked you over an hour ago, not allowed you to speak, not allowed you an opinion. And then you would have been angry and frustrated because you weren't allowed to defend yourself. But at the same time, nobody is going to threaten to kill you. Nobody is going to assault you. Nobody's going to kill your loved ones over your disagreement. Whereas my loved ones are dead. There are complete strangers who are dead because of the situation between myself and Natalie Bond. Let's see. Autotype, he said, I am a racist. You seem to have trouble with objective and subjective race. Nobody's perfect, bud. Nobody. Misa K. June is not perfect. You're not perfect. I'm not perfect. We're all going to fuck up. Will you admit when you fuck up? I do. Autotype, which is likely due to some kind of thought disorder. That's right. Immediately start ragging on them with the mentally ill treatment. Now, this is usually the part where if it's on my Facebook that I give them a whole bunch of it back. Oh yeah, I'm a little friggin' typer bot. Mies K. June typed all these facts. Gangsta Nerd typed, you do read the comments. Gangsta Nerd typed, oh, you do. Listen, bro. I saw some of your videos. You've been through a lot. You get harassed and stuff. Why not move to another country and start fresh? First, I'm not allowed to leave the country. Just a fact. I'm not allowed. Second of all, I don't have the money to go anywhere, even if I was allowed. It would be nice, though. See, a lot of people get on and they have these ideas, but those ideas don't have any bearing on my situation. Now, they could give me ideas or suggestions that would be helpful if they took the time to listen to my suggestions or to the situation in its entirety. It's not easy. Why not move to another country and start fresh, a new life, a good one, where no one would haunt you about the past? It'd be nice if I could. It really would. Miss K. June typed, if you eliminate color and call it what it is, it's murder, plain and simple. 100%. Absolutely, I agree. Miss K. June typed, there was a homeless veteran who was run over by a dump truck in Dallas a few days ago. He asked the police and docs for help to take him. They ignored him. His family sued the hospital and won. Oh, a few years ago, not a few days ago. Miss K. That's the thing. Your family has to care. If your family doesn't care, you have to have a friend who cares as if you were family. If not, people do whatever they want to you. Miss K. June typed, my own family member was a predator, and no one believed me except my aunt. When she died, I had a mental breakdown because she protected me from him when no one else would. Rand Ingersoll died last week, and she was an important witness. Rory Jepson died. He was an important witness. When I count the 22 people who are dead as a result of people just not listening to me, I don't count Rory because Rory died of a heart attack. I don't count Rihanna because she died of a seizure. I don't count Anna because she died of a seizure. I don't count Janine because she died of a heart attack. Y'all seeing where this is going? The person whose name I can't pronounce or read type Miss K. June. So sorry to hear that. Miss K. June type, and I oop, according to public opinion, I told you, he's not actively promoting the killing of a person. Them context clues are important. Reading is fundamental, kids. Exactly. Gangsta Nerd type, LOL bro is still replying to comments from half an hour ago, so I guess it'll be a while till he reads my comment. It was. Miss K June typed, oh wow. Thanks, I'm in a better place now. It's still hard to go to family functions, but I keep my distance. See, that's called normalization. When you have to normalize with your predator and pretend everything is all right, because nobody will believe you, nobody will listen to you. Chloe Chang typed, hey Sean, recently heard about you through Rob's video. Definitely agreeing with what's being talked about right now. Miss K June typed, you're saying it correctly, thank you. Haruth, the internet guy, typed, interesting. Miss K June, give me some of these. Chloe Chang typed, it's also really important to look at us as individuals, though. Very much so. It's not black people. When I was in Child Study and Treatment Center, it wasn't black people who were inciting violence against me. It was a very specific man by the name of Tim. And Tim was not very nice. He was also about 3 times my size. He was about 4 years older than me, and he liked to incite the other black kids to beat on me. However, his name is Tim, not black people. Just Tim. Miss K. June typed, I'm a female and I'm not offended. A cunt is a cunt. Gangsta Nerd typed a message that's held for review. I'm going to show it, as always. Oh, damn, you can't leave the country. Hurts my heart to know how you're imprisoned in this situation. Well, fuck the law, man. Have you thought about leaving the country illegally? Yes, I have. I'm not going to abandon my loved ones. You're going to have to kill me. You're going to have to kill me to shut me up. That's as simple as it is. I'm not going to run away. I'm going to keep my distance just enough to keep myself safe so that my words can be heard. Besides that, my name was tarnished worldwide, not just in the United States. Chloe Chang typed, there are some places around the world that are a lot cheaper than America, and you might enjoy. Too bad you can't leave. I know. I got some useful skills in foreign countries. Of course, you can't do that stuff in the woods here, but, well, we did them anyway. You're not allowed to legally, but when you need to survive, you need to survive. We made kitchen camps. Those of you who know what a kitchen camp is, thank you for serving. Gangster nerd type, do you have good friends you can trust and confide in? And how's it going with women in your life? I've never been attracted to men, and I gave up on women well over a decade ago. Jamie Curtis broke me of all of that. And no, I'm not talking about the famous movie star. I'm talking about Jamie Curtis in South Dakota. Do I have any friends I can trust and confide in? I don't have anyone I can trust. I got people I can confide in. Doesn't mean it's going to do anything. It doesn't mean that they're going to do anything. Gangsta nerd typed, okay, you have your people. Good. Kind of makes me cry. I shouldn't cry so much as a man. No, you're absolutely allowed to cry. Let me tell you something. Starting at the age of 13 or 14, we start teaching boys that they have to be men. The rules are different for them than they are for girls. By the age of 15, boys are killing themselves at 5 times the rate of girls. Why? Because girls are allowed to cry. Boys aren't. Boys are not socially allowed to show any emotions of that sort. We're allowed to exhibit frustration through violence, through violent acts, through screaming, through yelling. That's what's socially expected for males. Anything is better than crying when you're a dude. Anything is better than crying. We are taught from a very young age that going to prison is nothing compared to a pussy who cries. That's how men get treated. So, gangster nerd, fuck anybody who says you can't cry. Fuck anybody who tells you you need to just man up. You're a human being. Have some dignity. Chloe Chang type my guy. Misa K. June type kitchen camps. Oh man, I haven't heard that term since 2003. Wow, I feel so old now. We need men to cry more these days. Women wouldn't be so quick to be afraid, and men wouldn't be so hardened and detached to the point of being suicidal. Gangsta nerd types. Message retracted and message retracted, and then all right, bro. All right, I'm gonna leave y'all with my physical address and my mailing address here. You want to send me some mail? You got a story you want told? I'll read your mail on here. I'll tell your stories. Let's see. Shawn, SHAWN, SCHWARTZ, P.O. Box 123 or 702 Hayward Avenue, number 103, Chapel, Nebraska 69129. Gangster night nerd typed, oh, I'm not in America. I can't send anything. Don't worry about it. You can speak here. Matter of fact, if the racist asshole from earlier, Otto, wants to get on here and comment again, I'm fine with it. Of course, if he gets to the point where he's doing things like what the Bollingers were doing and their friends, I'll block him immediately. Absolutely not. You're not going to victimize people here. Y'all be safe, stay out of trouble, or don't get caught. I want you to take a look at your neighbor. I just want you to see him as your neighbor, regardless of the color or size or stature or wallet or gender. Just understand that that is your neighbor. And when shit goes to shit, between calling the police and going to your neighbor is right next door. I noticed when I was homeless that it wasn't the police who made the difference between life and death. It was people who were there and present when shit's going down. Police just show up afterwards to assign blame and extort money.